You are watching WPTV.
Welcome back to the desk. We're in March, and the madness is upon us. Here to tell us about it is in the rounds of 32 are Matthew Goldman, Gerard James, Bijan, Pulley, and Jason Hook. The 5th-seeded St. John's Red Storm took down the 4th-seed Kansas Jayhawks in a game that came down to the wire. Goldie, take us through some highlights.
Probably game of the tournament, in my personal opinion. We saw some of the best basketball played. It's everyone's favorite player, Darren Peterson, hitting 3, getting the Jayhawks a lead early. Now, it's going to be Oziah Sellers hitting 1. The Johnnies take the lead, 16-14. Look at that. That's Elmarco Jackson. Step back in the charity stripe. It's good. Ian Jackson to Ruben Prey. He hits the 3 on the right corner. 28-24. Darren Peterson crossover. He may be the first NBA drafted pick. Johnny's up by 12. Teardrop from Dylan Mitchell makes it a 14-point game. Kansas trying to get back. They're looking for anything here, and what a layup there to get them in position. 62-61. Dylan Darling to Bryce Hopkins on the right wing. And the Johnnies are up by 4. An aggressive play there, and that's going to go in from Trey White. 65-65. Dylan Darling works the right side. He puts up the layup, and it's good at the buzzer. And the St. John's Red Storm are going to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1999. Look at the Godfather, Rick Pitino.
Yeah, I'm very happy about this. It was a very entertaining highlight call. Gerard James, I'll swing it to you. What gave St. John's the trip to Sweet 16?
Just like, this is the first time I actually get to sit next to Goldie on the desk. Normally we get to sit on opposite sides, but I'm about to say the rebounding, and not just, defensive, but the offensive rebounding also. As they were actually able to get 11 offensive boards, you gotta be able to get the extra possessions and be able to stop the other team from scoring, which we seen it didn't come down like that because it was way too close for comfort as Rick Pitino was able to edge it out. But you got to be able to create those extra possessions, and that's what they were able to do to advance for the first time in how long?
1999.
Woo, that's a long time. Before some of y'all were even born.
Were you born by then?
Yeah, I was actually 12.
Gerard was about...
I was 12. I was 12.
Gerard was about... 20?
20? Man, 20? You know what?
21? 22?
I ain't
no, he was 12.
Old, man. I was a kid.
You're a comm major. You can't do math. We know this.
He was a kid, 18. Sure.
He was 12.
I was 12.
1999? Be honest with us.
Be honest? Oh, wow. Okay.
All right, gentlemen, that was the Lou Carnsecca era, just to let everyone know. Bijan, I'll swing it to you. How did St. John's get to the Sweet 16?
I mean, I got to go if they won on the margins because, to be honest, St. John's couldn't throw a rock into the ocean that game. They shot 36.2% from the field, 31.4% from 3, and 54.5% from the line. But you know how they won? They did it on the margins. They had 8 turnovers to Kansas 16. They forced 16 turnovers for Kansas while they had half less. St. John's had 11 offensive rebounds, as Gerard mentioned. Kansas only had 9. St. John's had 7 steals to Kansas 3 steals. And St. John's had 69 field goal attempts compared to Kansas. They had 54. And the Jayhawks did shoot better from the field as well, as they shot 44.4%. But when you win in the margins, give yourself extra possessions, you're able to create extra opportunities to score. Because St. John's really wasn't scoring, but they gave themselves more chances to score while limiting Kansas' chances to score.
They weren't scoring, but they also weren't getting those defensive rebounds, as Kansas out-rebounded St. John's by 10. And when you lose the rebound battle, 9 times out of 10, you lose the game. And a game this close with this much on the line, if you're not rebounding, you're not winning. And going forward, if you lose the rebound battle, let's just put it like this, you're going to be out really quick.
No, for sure.
Hollie?
To touch on Gerard's point about the rebounding, it's the front court. Zuby Ejiofor is the best St. John Johnny to place in Shamori Ponds. Dylan Mitchell was a former 5-star recruit, and he's a stat sheet stuffer. Bryce Hopkins was almost murdered at Providence when he was hitting the neck during a layup. But with that being said, Kansas fought. They had a legit team. They had Flory Badinga. They have Trey White. They have Melvin Council. They have legit defenders on this team. But Kansas couldn't get it done against St. John's. I think they're more unified, if anything. The front court is the reason why they win these basketball games. I think that's what the Johnnies advanced to the Sweet 16. And now they're going to play Duke, which is no easy task.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy task when you play Duke. I mean, if they can, play tight defense and, work the ball offensively, they have a shot to beat Duke. finished off Hook.
Yeah, shout out Action Bronson. With my hair slicked back, I look like Rick Pitino. He's the one who had his faith in Dylan Darling, probably the second best player off the bench behind Ian Jackson on this team. I know you want to probably fight Dylan Darling's better than look at my mustache.
What did you just say?
Either way. Rick Pitino had faith in his veteran guard off the bench. Even though he had no points before that game-winning shot, Dylan Darling went up to Rick Pitino. He said, you know what, I can get this shot off in time, and he did. Rick Pitino is a veteran coach. He's one of the greatest to ever do it in the game of college basketball. And you know what, you have to have a lot of faith, and you have to have a lot of smarts to trust in a guy like that, even with a poor previous 40 minutes of play.
Yeah, I mean, he is arguably the finest coach in all of college basketball.
What do you mean by
What?
that?
What?
Yeah,
What?
I did myself a thesis.
You gotta
on him,
you gotta
so
reword
I have a
that. You
lot
gotta
to say.
Whoa. Yeah, we know you.
He ate just like fine wine. That's what you meant.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. He knows how to orchestrate a basketball team.
Just because
You could have said that instead of saying
With some
he's the
illegal recruiting violations along the way.
Look, just because you're working up trying to meet him.
Anyway, the defending champion Florida Gators fell to the Iowa Hawkeyes 73-72 in the round of 32. Jason, take us through this South region shock.
I will do it gladly. The Gators led early. Bennett Sturts, guarded by Boogie Fland. A little turnaround, mid-range J. That's a future first-round pick in Bennett Sturts. That boy cold. Now we got Hawkeyes with the lead. Alex Condon feeds Xavier Lead, gets the shot off and connects from range. Condon now at the top of the key, feeds it over to Urban Klavzar. On the right wing, nails the three, no foul called there despite the contact going up, stirs the bounce pass into Taven Barksdale, and he finishes, giving them the lead. Boogie Fland now, the lob, that's Alex Condon, that's another future first round pick. It's jam time. Hawkeyes driving in, Alvaro Figueres, going straight into Alex Condon for the score. Now we got a tie game, it's getting close. Gators are down by 12. How to Klavzar inside with another Condon dunk. Going down, Cobden hands it off, Lee from three, it's good. He has been a huge impact transfer. That's the final boss of Florida, they call him, that big beefy dude. He was a Nebraska fan last week. Going up once again, it is our boy Bennett Sturts. And now, 8 seconds left, feeds it. Figueres from the corner, 4-3, takes the lead by just 1 point. Once again, beautiful bounce pass. That is textbook basketball. I learned that in AAU ball. Xavier Lee going up the court, going for the game-winning shot. It is no good. Head back to Princeton, dork.
Yeah, another.
My guy.
Bijan's coughing over here. Anyway, very entertaining highlight call from you, Jason. I'll keep it with you. What led to the Gators falling short in this tournament?
Well, both teams had 27 rebounds apiece, so I'm going to go with the rebounding. The Gators ranked first in all of college basketball, the entire nation this year, in rebounding. The Hawkeyes 354th. So to tie the rebounding battle between these two teams it's disgraceful for the Gators. They have gone 1-3 now officially since their year is finally over. This was the fourth time that they've either tied or lost a rebounding battle. They lost to Missouri when they tied that rebounding battle. They lost the rebounding battle to Texas where they just barely got by, and then against Arizona, who ended up becoming the #1 team in the country after that win against Florida. They lost the rebounding battle there. Arizona gets the win. Now Iowa does the same exact thing, gets the win because, like Gerard said earlier, you lose the rebounding battle 9 times out of 10, you're losing the game.
Yeah, I mean, rebounding is crucial in basketball. So if you gotta rebound the basketball. Goldie.
I would say it's Florida's foul trouble. Ruben Shinilu had 4 fouls. The guy had 0 points and a rebound. Alex Condon couldn't be too aggressive late because he had 4 fouls. He had 21 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, but it was just too many fouls. The guy was just not playing well. That's 2 of Florida's best defenders. These are nationally recognized defenders. Iowa doesn't have a prime player in that front court that gives them nightmares. They're a slow basketball team. They got themselves in a bad situation. They couldn't be aggressive, and that's the reason why Florida lost, because they're playing simply silly basketball.
Well, I'll swing it to you.
Silly basketball, losing rebound battles, which they actually tied. But here's the problem. They got locked down when it counted. You telling me you can't make the last shot? You can't even take the last shot. You want to pass the ball when you're driving into the lane? You still got time? Come on, man. Y'all look out here looking like the Brooklyn Nets, tanking for no reason. So 2.1 seconds left, and you can't even get the shot because Iowa has locked you down defensively?
No, because Xavier Lee was just trying to make his like one shining moment. But it made no
Trying to.
sense. He goes up the right side and then tries to pass it inside
right.
to Condon and Haw. What are you doing? As Jason mentioned, go back to Princeton Dork, read a book.
Not even that. Go back to the fundamentals. Tim Duncan, we seen, he showed the best. You don't have to be the best as long as your fundamentals are right. You can be the best, and that's what happened. Florida, yeah, you were the reigning, defending, undisputed champions from last year, but guess what? Them same tricks didn't get it done this year.
And they're in Cancun.
Well, nah, not Cancun. They just went to Miami because some of them boys probably don't even have passports.
Miami is probably further away than Cancun is to where they.
Either way it goes, they go on
Tallahassee?
vacation.
Gainesville.
Gainesville? Well, no, that's where they're located.
Whole other side of Florida. You got to fly to Miami.
All right, gentlemen, I got to swing it to Bijan here.
Yeah, swing it like they tried to swing it into the interior line.
Yeah, but I have to go with Ruben Chebulu. He had an off night, man. In this game, in 18 minutes, Ruben had 0 points, 1 rebound, 0 assists, 1 steal, and only took 1 shot in the game and had 4 fouls. The man had more fouls than every other statistical category combined, which is really crazy. Like, oh my God. Florida's inconsistent backcourt was a known weakness of the team, as we saw with Gurley, Pop, Xavier, and Lee throwing that Stevie trying to throw the Howe or Condon in the paint. Like, brother, that wasn't working. I'm sorry. Too much calculations. How about keep it simple, like Gerard said, the fundamentals. But they made up for it with their dominant front court play. Howe and Condon came to play. And surprisingly, Xavier Lee did too, even though I just called him Gurley Pop. My bad, bro. But he just called you a dork. What did I say? Wasn't that bad. But guess what? If Ruben Chebulu just played half of what he usually does, like half his normal production, they probably win this game because Iowa is not more talented than them. Florida had no business losing to this Iowa team, but Ruben Chebulu off night, and that's the part of the formula Iowa needed to win, come out and win.
Why we gotta call them girly pops?
Well, he just called him a dork.
Girly Pops?
Girly Pop.
Oh my God.
Gentlemen, I gotta,
They weren't using
I
that
gotta-
back in
I got to
99?
move the conversation
Your high
along
school
here.
days?
We witnessed the first half of the Sweet 16 games on Thursday night, and a few players took initiative to have highlighting performances. Goalie, I'll go to you. Who stood out to you?
Bennett Sturts. This guy is clearly going to be a lottery pick. He had 20 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. And he's on a slow Iowa team, but he's their best player. He's what March is all about. This Iowa roster is a bunch of guys who started their career playing Division II basketball. Look at them now. They're in the Elite Eight. This is, on paper, not a team that should be beating Nebraska, beating Clemson. They should not be beating Florida. With that being said, they play this slow brand of basketball. It works in their favor. And the Hawkeyes are genuinely going to be a tough team, and now the Elite Eight as they take on Illinois. But Bennett Sturts is the captain of that. He leads the charge. He leads everything. And he's just this wicked scorer that's progressed year in and year at the collegiate level.
Gerard, who do you want to highlight today?
I'll let you know, with all the young guys in this tournament, I had to go from the game last night with Braden Smith. Now, he wasn't flashy. 37 minutes, 16 points. But if you watch the end that last possession, him driving to the lane the way he did opened up that Texas defense to be able to lose that game. Texas, when I turned the game on, I thought Texas was actually going to win that game. I was almost texting the group chat talking about upset alert, but then I said, now let me wait and let's see what happens. And Purdue is actually going to be one of those teams that will surprise a lot of people, I think, going forward. And Braden Smith is going to be one of those names to watch out for. He's young, and he's not a lottery pick, but it doesn't matter.
He's not even going to get drafted.
He might not even be drafted. But you know what happens?
No.
But you know what, though? It's okay, because not a lot of lottery picks can pan out. They'll be the girly pop of the year. And guess what's going to happen? They will just, they'll phase on, and a lot of the guys like Braden Smith and a couple of the other guys who will get drafted later or go undrafted will actually be in the league a lot longer.
You know who's a goalie pop? Rick Pitino.
He'll be playing with the Wisconsin.
Where am I
Herd.
right now?
I think we're using girly pop in the wrong way.
No, we're not.
I think he should use it.
Just because you
we're
want to
not.
use it.
We're
Just
not.
because that's how y'all want to use it.
No, you used it
Where
wrong.
does this term stem from?
Good question.
I don't know. Maybe from up above.
All right.
I'll tell you where it stems from. It stems from Macedonia. Shout out David Mirkovic.
All right, Hook, give us your player on who you want to talk about.
You're not going to believe this. It's Mr. Girly Pop himself, David Mirkovic of Illinois. 14, 10, and 2, plus a block against Houston. He has been the star of the tournament all tournament long, just under 17 points per game, just under 11 rebounds per game, and 3 assists per game in this tournament so far. He's had a great regular season. He's stepping it up come tournament time. I'm seeing a first-round pick here. I think he's a late first-rounder. He's not going to be, he's not the Keaton Wagler of this team, but he's the second option on this offense. He's a terrific player all around, and that performance against Houston just cemented it. You want to talk about girly pop and what girly pop really means. That's David Mirkovic.
Give the boy a lollipop. Because here's the thing. Braden Smith is also, you said something about assist, right? But Braden Smith is also now the NCAA all-time assist leader.
Yeah, because all he does is
Hey, but what does that
So
mean?
what? At least he's finding the open man.
The question was for one game. That has no significance.
And
He could have had
for 3 years, he had a 7'5", 300-pound center who won 2 National Player of the Year awards. Of course, he's the
And they
all-time
got
leader in
upset in the
assists.
first.
Please do not talk about Zach Edey with me.
To
Please
Fairleigh
don't.
Dickinson. They lost to, who was it? Furman?
This is Braden Smith's 4th season of college basketball.
So, and
Of course, he's going to be the all-time leader in assists. For 3 of those years, he had one of the best centers that we've seen in the 21st century in college
All you
basketball.
have to do is give it
that's
to
last
7'5"
year. I'm not
center.
talking this year, not last year.
But what does
You
that have
just
to do with
mentioned his
anything?
career accolade. What do you mean you're not talking this year?
It's
y'all
one
shouldn't-
game. You're giving his career statistics. It
I'm
means
not talking-
nothing, Gerard.
I'm not talking about the career. I'm talking about now. And my man's just sitting here finding the open man. That's what you need to do. If you can consistently contribute to winning basketball, okay, yes, back in the day, what did he do? He learned from it. Yes, he had Zach Edey.
He's also grew up with the
Sucked,
same core. That
actually.
senior core with Purdue, with Trey Kaufman-Renz, C.J. Cox,
Which is
Fletcher
a great
Lawyer,
thing, though.
Oscar Clough. That's a core there with Purdue. But I don't think, in my personal opinion, that Braden Smith's the best player in that team.
You know what, Gerard? You know what you're
He
being
only
right
has
now,
to be the
Gerard?
best player?
Gerard, you're being girly pop right now, and I'm using it the way that you use it.
All right, gentlemen, I got to move it on to Bijan to finish off with his player.
Wow, what a heated debate that was. I was just stuck in the
I
middle.
mean, I just got to move it along.
I was speechless, stunned.
Speechless? That's what you said, speechless.
I just said speechless.
You're more girly pop than ever, Gerard.
What? Wow. Bijan, go ahead, man.
I might say Gerard is in his girly pop era, but a player that stood out to me is Trayvon Mark. I mean, I'm gonna have a girly pop moment right here. I owe an apology. I was not familiar with the man's game, because honestly, I didn't know he could get it to the Baja like that. But last night, Mark dropped 29 points, shot 11-15 from the field, and 5-7 from deep for a true shooting percentage of 86.5%. Not to mention, this man did this on one good ankle for the entirety of the second half, because he got rolled up on, I'm forgetting the defender's name, but he took a 3-point shot, and the defender didn't give him enough landing space, and he rolled up his ankle. And guess what? Despite being on one good ankle, Mark put on a tough shot-making clinic. Dribble pull-ups coming out of pick and roll, dribble pull-ups in isolation for three-pointers. Like, the man was doing everything on one good ankle, and he almost got Texas another upset victory.
There is one thing, he lost.
I mean, sometimes you got to show love to the
Yeah,
to the
not
losers.
very girly pop of him, was it? Or was it? I don't know what it means
Listen,
anymore, actually.
listen,
What's the Urban Dictionary? I should look it up.
Yeah, Gerard.
Listen, I'm trying to be different here.
What?
Y'all pick the winners. Listen, I show love to the losers sometimes.
Yeah, but
You
like, a
guys
loser
should.
doesn't advance you to the national title.
Losers can be girly pop, too.
But there's
No,
also
no,
great losses.
Look at Trixie Mattel.
I haven't.
We still have 4 more Sweet
world?
16 games to be played on Friday night. And we're going to play a little game here, gentlemen, at the desk. Which player will be a March Madness hero? And I'll start with you, Bijan. What player will lead their team to success?
Man, this is a very tough decision for me, but I got to go with Ade Mar, the center from Michigan. The man just impacts the game in so many ways. Dominant post scorer, great lob target, one of, if not the best big man passer in the country. Very good. On the year, he averages 12 points, almost 7 rebounds, around almost 3 blocks, and shoots 67.4% from the field. Again, he just impacts the game in so many ways. Great post scorer, great lob target, one of, if not the best big man passers in the country. Good rim protector, very good drop defender, and a very good rebounder. He, as we saw, he can give you anywhere from 12 to 70 points, 7 to 8 rebounds, and 3 to 5 assists, 2 to 3, even 4 blocks if he's really feeling it that night. And I think Mar will take it up another notch and get Michigan to the natty.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great player, and I think, he'll be that hero for the team. Goalie, I'll go to you.
My pick is my favorite person from Connecticut, not named Sean Buck. It's Alex Karaban. Alex Karaban just above 13 points a night with 5 boards. Alex Karaban as well as 2 assists a night and shoots just under 50% at 48.2. But I think if anyone's going to have their one shining moment in March, it's going to be Alex Karaban. UConn is one of the most balanced teams in the tournament, and Michigan State's not a fun matchup to go against in the Sweet 16. It's Tom Izzo, and March. You see the green. I'm not rooting for Michigan State. But with that being said, he's going for his 3rd collegiate championship in 4 years. UConn has been on a roll. And I think with his 3-point shooting, his quick decision-making, he has a real chance that Alex Karaban can have 25 for the 2nd straight tournament game and lead UConn for some more success and possibly a national championship.
Yeah, he had a hell of a senior season under Dan Hurley for the Huskies, so he'll definitely be a hero for the.
I would say it's girly pop.
There's a questionable girly pop.
Gerard,
I'd rather we say 6'7".
Oh, not very girly.
Did not
pop.
land.
All right.
Did not land.
Nobody's laughing.
all right, with that being
That's
said,
fine.
Gerard, give us your player on who will be a March Madness hero.
So I'm gonna go with the man from Duke, the freshman Cam Boozer. His twin brother sitting there still making waves, but he's going averaging 22.4 points a game, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and his field goal percentage 56%. And this is going to cap off a great year from the Duke freshman, who, yes, I'm not a fan of the one and done, but as we see now, he's probably going to be a first-round draft pick, probably even a lottery pick.
He'll probably go top 3.
Top
He's
3.
going to win National Player of the Year. He already won the Robertson Award.
He's a top 3 lock.
Has he ever met Zuby Ejiofor? I don't think so.
But at the same time, no,
Probably
he can
passer,
also
right?
he'll
Probably
actually
might
hit you on the step back.
Probably like an
But
8 tournament.
look, Duke has the mixture of veteran talent and freshman talent. Cam Boozer, he comes in, he's actually there's a Duke team who has a history of success. Now, have Duke really made it in the last few years past the Elite Eight? No. But actually,
They were in the Final Four last year.
Yeah, they were in the Final Four.
Came down to a 1-possession game in the Final Four.
Yeah, they couldn't score for the final
last
10 minutes of the game. They scored 1 point.
Well, I don't think that him going against Zuby Ejiofor is a favorable matchup in the Sweet 16. Zuby Ejiofor was the Defensive Player of the Year in the Big East.
I mean,
this guy is
that's
going
the
to
Big
shut
East,
him
though.
down.
That's the Big
Shutdown's
East.
crazy.
The Big East is more
That's the
competitive than
Big
the
East.
ACC.
The problem is Ejiofor is going to have to guard Boozer. Who's going to guard Gongba?
Dylan Mitchell.
All right, cool. Dylan Mitchell's guarding Cam Boozer.
With that being
Don't
said,
matter.
Jason, I will swing it to you. Give us your March Madness hero.
I'm going to go with Alabama's backup small forward because it's an X factor. It's not the obvious pick. It's going to be Houston Millett. So far on the season, he's averaging 6.7 points. Shout out Gerard. 4.5 boards, 38% from field, and a pretty good 36% from three. He's a 3-and-D wing. I love the number 95. That's one of the reasons why I like him so much. But also, 15 points, 8 boards, and an assist against Texas Tech. He's an understated presence on the defensive end, going up against a very strong, forward-heavy Michigan roster. And then you look at Michigan's bench, and the wings are kind of when it comes to playing beyond the perimeter. So you have Houston Millett, a guy who can guard the perimeter really well, and he's going to take down that second unit for the Wolverines.
And the Wolverines suck anyway, so.
Whoa.
Hey, I can say that. I am an Ohio State.
Do you know who Maxwell Lendenberg is?
Hey, Mr. Girly
Wait.
Pop. So Ohio State lost in the first round to Texas Christian
basketball sucks
University.
anyway.
And Michigan, they're a 1
cares?
seed in the tournament.
And they're still going to suck, and they're still going to lose.
What do you mean and? You're on
They're
the
still gonna
college
lose.
basketball block.
They're
What do you
still
mean
going
and?
to lose.
Ohio State's gone, Gerard. They lost in the round of 64.
Yep.
Bruce Thornton.
Yep, you're right. Then and Ohio State's basketball team, well, they're not all the way there.
No, they're not very girly
All right,
pop,
gentlemen,
are
I got to wrap up the
very girly pop at
show
all.
here. That does it for March Madness. Until next week, we're going to swing it to Dan and his crew for the MLB opening day right here on WPTV.